Hi, I'm Robbie Lawler.
What's up, Fight Family? This is your favorite MMA coach, Thiago Alves, the Pitbull.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Pedro Munoz.
This is Mike Brown.
Guys, I'm Alexei Olenik. And welcome.
And welcome.
And welcome.
And welcome.
And this is We Want One Picks.
And you're watching We Want Picks.
To We Want Picks.
We Want Picks.
To We Want Picks.
To We Want Picks. Hi, everybody from American Top Picks.
My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. And it is fight day, so we are live, and we're going to break down these fights. We're going to get your opinions. We're going to find out if we're aligned. We're going to talk about who we think wins, who we think loses, where we put some money. And we're going to get excited for these fights. And we're going to need a couple of hype men because very mediocre fight card. Very mediocre.
You know why that is,
right?
right?
All fights can be fun, but this card kind of a stinker. What? Why?
And I guess there's a theory going out, which I guess it makes sense, that every time there's a Tyson Fury fight, they have just a crap card. Because not only is there Bellator tonight, there's also the Tyson Fury fight. So it's like, yeah, let's just go ahead and throw some people against the wall and put a card out
What's
there.
their excuse for next week? Because next week sucks too.
Well, it's the Tyson Fury hangover,
event.
you know?
Yeah, better main event next week. Rest of the card, kind of trash. Anyway, we're going to jump in. We're going to get your picks. We're going to talk about our picks. We're going to break down these fights. And if you want $50, 5-0, you've heard me do this spiel before, but I continue to pay people. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit, and we send you $50. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, however you want it. And actually, let me read the comment here. I saw it. I'm in the middle of moving. We just bought a house yesterday. I sold this house. You see there's boxes in the background. Oh, thank you so much. I'm going to need your help moving shit, by the way. So figure out how to strengthen your neck or your back, whatever else you need. How do I find... I'm on my Discord. Somebody messaged me that signed up and said, instead of giving me $50, he wants to do a giveaway. Let me pull up Discord on my phone. Very loyal. We have an unbelievable following. You guys are amazing.
Some of you, not Jester.
Yeah, no, I mean, some of these people are trash. But Z Tark said, just signed up with the fourth betting partner on your page. Instead of claiming the $50, I have another idea of what you can do with it to help support your channel. Is there any way to put everyone who likes Tuesday's breakdown with you and Jake in a random pool for $10 each week for 5 weeks? Yeah, I'm 99%. So thank you, Z Tark. Thank you. I just mentioned this on the live stream. Sorry, I know we're meandering here. Anyway, we will do that. I'm 99% sure there's raffle websites, right?
Oh, very easy.
You put in the link to your YouTube and it automatically knows who liked and who didn't and shit. So we're going to do that. So Z Tark, thank you very, very much. We're going to be giving away some moolah. And this is brought to you by EarnU.io. EarnU is the world's first sports and esports prediction game, allowing you to earn crypto 100% risk-free. Check it out at EarnU.io. We also have a link in the description. Legit. Obviously, they're a sponsor, but legit. EarnU is awesome. It is completely risk-free. I started with the EarnU tokens are worth whatever value in real life. And then I've earned a lot more by winning some of these. And it's gone up in value because they're also going to be the casino in the metaverse. But I've got a couple $100 worth of actual money.
I have $10 million. I have $10 million in EarnU coins.
Do you want to sponsor the show?
Huh?
You have, sounds like disposable income. Would you like to sponsor the show?
I already put forth everything I've got, every ounce.
Yeah, but
of
I pay you
into the show.
But I pay
I
you.
literally
Let's
put every ounce of free time and energy into the show. I have nothing
why am I
left to
doing the
give.
graphics? What a joke.
I have nothing left to give because I give everything. I mean, I literally give. I got back from the gym. I couldn't even take a shirtless selfie after the gym because my time is so crunched. I'd go from the gym straight to the mic. No shirtless selfie. Sorry, guys, not today.
Yeah, sorry. That's why. And before I jump into this fight, listen, the fight card's not great. We can meander a little bit. Somebody in one of the YouTube comments was like, Jake, you're the best. What's your Instagram and Twitter? And I just started cracking up laughing. I called Jacob because I was like, Twitter I totally get, but people don't realize Jacob's Twitter is like 85% shirtless thirst trap pictures. 85%.
It's all dog pictures.
And
all dog
and what's that one right there in the middle? A shirtless.
Yeah, 85%. Look, this is all dogs.
Well, it's all thirst trap. 85% thirst trap. And if you think,
dogs.
girls will like my dog.
Look at the dogs.
Because you can't smell through a phone, so they don't realize that the dog stinks.
She does stink. I'm not gonna the drooling. She does not drool, but she does stink. But she does not like getting bathed. So,
well, let's jump right in. First up, we have Dean Barry taking on Mike Jackson. Weirdest fight on this card. Weirdest fight. And that's Amanda Hebas. Weirdest fight on this card. Weirdest fight on a lot of cards. Because first of all, Dean Barry signed with the UFC about a year and a half ago, finally able to make his debut. Mike Jackson has not fought in the UFC since 2018 when he beat CM Punk. But they took that win away from him because he smoked some weed. And this was in 2018 when people cared if you smoked weed. Now, Dean Barry, who only has 5 professional fights, whose last professional fight was against a guy who has 6 wins and 30 losses. Dean Barry is a minus 1,200 favorite. He's a kickboxer over Mike Jackson, who's also a kickboxer. I think it's absurd. I do think Dean Barry wins, but I think it's absurd. And the last thing I'll mention here before I really jump in is Dean Barry looked soft as hell at weigh-ins. Soft as hell. This is at welterweight. He's very vocal that he should be a lightweight. He doesn't even, he looks like he could be a featherweight, right? He looks legit soft.
It was very it was a little bit interesting. I sent you the picture and I said I think he looks like the 700 underdog. And I got some quotes here from Mike Jackson, but you can give your spiel and then I'll.
Yeah. So real quick, I'll just do a very quick breakdown. Obviously, these odds I think they're ridiculously wide. We have 4 fights versus 2 fights, 5 fights versus 2 fights. They're both kickboxers, so there's obviously a skill gap, but it's not minus 1,200 skill gap. But anyway. Dean Barry's got sort of a long karate style, and he keeps his hands pretty low, almost like the Wonder Boy, and then he comes rushing in with big punches. He does have a surprising amount of power, considering he is small for the welterweight division. He should be a lightweight. He wants to be a lightweight. I don't know why he hasn't just done it. His takedown defense is not the best, but he does have solid submission defense. Mike Jackson, again, he only has 2 fights ever. One of them is a win over CM Punk in 2018. He smoked some weed, tested positive, and he has not fought since. I have no idea if he's training. I don't know what he's doing with his life. I don't even know how the UFC got in touch with him to bring him into this fight. And they've obviously set this up to get Dean Barry a win. But I don't know why you're scooping up these young prospects this early in their career if you need to, really go find them a win. You know what I mean? If you're digging up people that they can get a win over, I don't know why you've brought them into the UFC, right? You want them to come in, beat the low-level talent, work their way up. This is guy hasn't fought in several years. But either way, Mike Jackson's a decent kickboxer, and if you give him time, you let him figure out what he's doing, he'll strike with you, and he could outstrike some people. So I do think Dean Barry wins just because he does have power. He's definitely more active, and I know what he's been up to, but...
Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. All right. I think that's the first time I've sneezed since 2015.
Did you mute your mic to sneeze? That's the most
respectful,
considerate thing. Yeah, the most considerate thing I've ever seen in my life.
Anyway, odds are wide. This is absurd. Dean Barry probably wins. He is not in my DraftKings. I'm not spending any money on the guy because there's too many question marks. And I do have a tiny little baby bet on Mike Jackson because, hey, plus 1,200 striker versus striker. What's up, Jake? You said you had some quotes.
Yeah, here's an interesting quote from Mike Jackson because he talked about, first of all, he talks about how he doesn't have to fight. Even when he was fighting back in the day, he feels like that's what makes him a dangerous person because a lot of people feel the pressure of having to fight. And he actually said, I don't have to fight. My dad is like a retired policeman. My mom remarried a doctor. He was like saying, he was literally saying like, I'm a privileged guy. I don't have to do this for the money. So I'm doing this for shits and giggles.
He's 37 years old talking about his mommy and daddy making
I know.
money.
Well, I think he was talking about back when he first started fighting, not like right now, but he's still, he
started fighting in 2000. I guess kickboxing. Sorry.
But anyway, the quote is he's back for shits and giggles, but he expects to KO Dean Barry and says, quote, it will be an easier fight than the Punk fight. So he's coming in very loose, very confident. You could see in the face-offs on the scale, he looked very loose, very confident. the fact of the matter is he's just not very good. Dean Barry's supposed to be that guy. That's why the odds are as wide as they are. They've come down a little bit. He's only a minus 1,000 now. I think Mike Jackson's is a plus 600. So they're moving just a little bit. We'll see what it is right before the fight. But yeah, this should be just an easy fight for Dean Barry. If he has troubles at all, it's issues. It's issues for him. So I have him in my DraftKings lineup. I wouldn't bet him at the plus 1,000 just because the lack of experience and who knows what Mike Jackson's been doing. But yeah, this should be. I mean, on paper, this should be an easy fight.
This is a funny comment. Mike Jackson, hero of the Basement Warriors. Let's go, one of us. That's pretty funny. You also asked about the full card parlay. Here's the problem with the full card parlay. I was tying it to YouTube membership. YouTube is basically like, hey, you can have all the members you want, and you can give them all the perks you want, but the perks have to stay within YouTube, meaning you can give members their own videos. Members get the crowns. Members get to use emojis. You can do all that stuff, but you can't give members something outside of the YouTube world. So right now we're pausing the full card parlay until I got a web guy. We're going to build out memberships directly on WeWantPicks.com, and then we'll spin back up the full card parlay and we'll do it there. So that's what the full card parlay is. Hey, listen, $3 on plus 700. I mean, you're not going to pay your mortgage with it, but what the hell? Not everybody needs to be betting to pay bills. You bet to have some fun. You make $1 here and there. It's a good time.
I always bet to have fun.
I do too. I don't like, so somebody asked the other day in a comment, how much are your units? The reason everybody talks in units and not actual dollars is because, let's say for me, a unit's $100. For somebody, that's a ridiculous amount of money, right? Somebody's gonna be like, oh my God, you bet a couple $100 a weekend? That's insane. Somebody else will say $100. I'm taking your advice. I'm betting thousands of dollars a fight. Why would I listen to you? So that's why we talk in units, because different amounts of money mean different things to different people. Some people have $10 to bet with.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely. So anyway, that's why we talk in units when we talk about bets. So you can get, if I'm betting 3 units on somebody, like, wow, he's pretty comfortable with that. The amount of money I'm comfortable with and the amount of money you're comfortable with may be very different, but at least you know that bet specifically I'm confident in. So I threw a half a unit on Mike Jackson just to see what would happen.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Guys, if you want to vote,
that was actually a good note. You actually got to hit that note.
If you guys want to vote on these fights, WeWantPicks.com/vote. Let me turn on the bot. WeWantPicks.com/vote. We'll review your votes. We'll check them out here and see where we are. We're going to be doing everything through the website because Streamlabs. I stream to Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and what's the other one? Twitch. So we're trying to get everything through the website, one single central location. Let me turn on the bot to give you guys the links y'all need. And we are good to go.
Reno 911. What a great show. I love Reno 911, man.
Yeah, there's new episodes of it, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are.
On what? Like some weird Paramount or something?
No, on Roku.
Or on TV?
No, literally on Roku. Roku has their own original programming now. It's on Roku. And they're funny. They're short, but they're funny. All right. No, like Jacob. Get it? Okay. Next up, we have Marcin Prachniow taking on Felipe Linz. And Felipe Linz looked incredible at weigh-ins. He's a heavyweight moving down to light heavyweight. He looked absolutely fantastic at weigh-ins. He didn't look like obviously he had to lose weight to come down, but he didn't look like he cut weight. He looked like he lost weight. He was shredded, had some solid.
He looks like his shirtless selfie should be on my Instagram. That's how good he looks.
Yeah, he's about 1.5 feet taller, but absolutely.
What? I think we're the same size. How tall is he?
Okay. Go stand in your doorway so people can really get some.
Felipe Linz.
Go stand in your doorway. This way people can get some real.
Yeah, he's 6'2".
Scale.
6'2".
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're definitely 6
I'm just
feet,
a little
2 inches
leaner.
tall.
I mean, he came in 205.
You know
about
what?
185.
I'm gonna find that picture of you next to Tiffany holding a box of pizza.
Oh, when she was like up on her tippy toes and I was like hunched over because the pizza's so heavy. It was a New York deep dish. It was weighing me down.
Yeah. I'm gonna find that picture and I will post it on here. Okay.
Wow, you said Felipe... pizza and then immediately Uber Eats said, would you like something to eat? Get something tasty delivered to your door. How creepy is that, huh?
I would actually love to see your Uber Eats bill. I'm sure it's
It's hundreds every month.
100?
No doubt
That's
about
it?
that. No, hundreds.
Oh, I was going to say 100.
No, 100 is
Z-Tark.
2 meals.
I just mentioned on the live stream before you hopped on that you, instead of getting your $50 for signing up at weonpicks.com/bets, that it was your idea to have everybody like this Tuesday night stream, and then we'll do a raffle, $10 giveaways to whoever the raffle picks. So appreciate it. Thank you very much. And we let everybody know before we got going. So Marcin Prachniow taking on Felipe Linz. Marcin Prachniow 15-5 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. And he is coming off of a performance of the night win. He's taking on Felipe Linz, moving down to light heavyweight from heavyweight. He's 3-2 in his last 5, but he is looking for his first UFC win. And Prachniow is a big-time prospect, but he came into the UFC, lost 3 in a row by first-round knockout. He has now won 2 in a row. He seems to have put things together. But what's interesting is he has a traditional martial arts background. He has 400 combat karate wins. 400 combat karate wins. That's a lot. And we haven't really seen him use that combat karate style, but his MMA style, he's more of a technical brawler. He comes in, gets into a firefight, starts swinging away. The problem is his chin can't really support that style. He does have incredible power in his hands, though. Felipe Linz, he's a heavyweight. I mentioned he's moving down to light heavyweight. I mentioned he looked absolutely incredible on the scale. Like, he looked fantastic on the scale. He does have legit power in his hands at heavyweight. He looked great last night on the weigh-in, so I imagine he's going to take that power down with him to light heavyweight. And he likes to hang out in the pocket and bang or walk you down. But either way, he has heavy hands and a BJJ black belt that we don't get to see him use all the time. I like Felipe Linz in this matchup. I like him to get the win. I probably like him for a DraftKings lineup now. $7,800 is good money. And listen, Prachnio's gotten knocked out 3 times in a row, 3 first-round knockouts. And Felipe Linz is going to hit hard. So I like Felipe Linz here, especially after weigh-ins. What do you think, Jacoby?
Yeah, I have Prachniow. I'm going to stick with it, but I don't feel as good about it, obviously, after seeing Felipe Linz at weigh-ins, because you mentioned he does look fantastic. Not as good as me, but he looks fantastic. He's going to win this fight if he's able to pressure Prachniow. If Prachniow is able to keep the space, use those leg kicks that he tore up Ike Villanueva with against Felipe Linz, because Felipe Linz is that black belt, but he is kind of a boxer that just happens to have a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He doesn't wrestle. He doesn't really grapple. If I'm him in this matchup, I use my size advantage coming down from heavyweight, and I initiate some clinches, right? I try to wear down Prachniow, get him against a cage. Maybe you can get a takedown and then kind of dominate the grappling on the ground, but if Prachniow is able to keep the distance, keep the space, I still think he's a better athlete in this matchup. I think he's going to be the better overall striker. But if Felipe Linz is able to pressure Prachniow, get him on his back foot, withstand those leg kicks. If you crowd him, he's not going to be able to get those leg kicks, initiate some clinches. He can definitely have some real success. So this could be the resurgence of Felipe Linz, because he's got some real talent. And at 14-5 isn't a bad record. Reinvent himself at light heavyweight. I'm interested to see how he looks in this matchup for sure. I'm going to stick with Prachniow because I think he's a better athlete, is able to get some leg kicks heavy on Linz early to disrupt kind of his momentum moving forward. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, okay. So we're on opposite sides, but the weigh-ins shook you a little bit?
Yeah, I wasn't feeling great about Prachniow at the start anyway, because he has, anytime somebody's getting knocked out the way he's been getting knocked out, I just like the leg kicks. But yeah, Felipe Linz looked fantastic.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and he's fought at light heavyweight before, but it's been a while. So, sorry, I'm looking for that picture. It's going to take me some time. Guys, weonpicks.com/vote. Let us know who you think wins. I'm going to pull that up here. We only have 6 votes so far, but hey, we just started doing this now. And you guys are split. You're split. Let us get a 7th vote, because you guys are absolutely split here who you think wins this fight. And honestly, if you're split and you play DraftKings, that's where Felipe Linz makes sense. He's the dog, right? $7,800. You get a little bit of a savings there. EO likes pineapple on pizza. What's so funny is, listen, I'm from the Northeast. I love pizza. I have no problem with pineapple on pizza. I have no problem with complicated pizzas. Like I have...
Listen, I worked at a pizza place for like 8, 10, 9 years, something like that. If you're going to do pineapple pizza, I don't have an issue with it, really. But you got to do barbecue sauce. It's got to be barbecue sauce as the base, and then pineapple, throw some ham on there. That's your pineapple pizza. You can't just do regular pizza and then throw pineapple. It doesn't make any sense.
Well,
but barbecue with pineapple.
Hawaiian pizza doesn't have barbecue sauce.
Yes, it does.
It's just Hawaiian pizza? There's regular cheese pizza.
Every
with
Hawaiian
ham and
pizza,
pineapple.
no, every Hawaiian pizza I've ever made is with barbecue sauce.
Oh, well, I don't know. I've never made a pizza because I don't know. Just never made a pizza. Tony signed up for Monkey Knife Fight with our promo code. Interested in messing around with it? Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Listen, Monkey Knife Fight this week. I didn't do a Monkey Knife Fight video because Chris didn't get Alexander Romanov up there fast enough for me. But do Knockout Kings. So go to WeWantPicks.com/MKF. But Monkey Knife Fight has a game called Knockout Kings. You pick any 3 fighters, and if they win by KO or TKO, you make money. And it's basically free. Throw Romanov in there, throw 2 other guys in there, and you will definitely find yourself with a KO or a TKO, and you'll get paid. It's the easiest, by far the easiest way to make money in Monkey Knife Fight. Super, super duper easy. Okay. Next up, at UFC Vegas 52, we have Kyori Lang taking on Cameron Else. Kyori Lang 3-2 in his last 5. He's riding a 2-fight skid, taking on Cameron Else. He's 10-5 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming back after a 1.5 year layoff. If you watch our Tuesday night breakdown, you know that is a theme on this card. There are so many people on this card coming back after long layoffs, coming back after, injuries or just retirement in the case of Mike Jackson. But Cameron Else is another one of them. Kyori Lang is a well-rounded guy with incredible pressure, solid pace. He can fight a technical fight or he can get sucked into a brawl. He uses his striking to set up his takedowns, and he was able to take down Jeff Molina 3 times. But his takedown defense could use some work. Cody Durden took him down 5 times in a fight where he was winning all of those striking exchanges. He's got solid footwork, solid movement. He's got a pretty sturdy chin. Cameron Else, he lost to Kyler Phillips in a short notice-ish UFC debut about a 1.5 years ago. But he was fully quarantined for that. That was like during lockdowns, and he's from the UK where they took it a little more seriously than some other parts of the world. And he stepped in on short notice, and, Kyle Phillips is a dog. He'll come out there. He'll work you to the bone, and that's exactly what happened in a fight. He has all stoppage wins, and they're a mixed bag between submissions and knockouts. He's fun to watch because he's just constantly chasing a finish. He does have solid cardio. He is good on his feet and on the ground. The problem is because he chases those wins, sometimes he'll make mistakes, right? He'll give up a dominant position to chase something, or he'll get taken down because he's just throwing bombs instead of doing a complete MMA game. It should be a really fun fight. 2 guys looking for their first UFC win. The odds makers love Kyori Lang here, and the odds haven't really moved that much during the week, so I guess you guys are pretty much agreeing with it for the most part of Lang being a 2.5 to 1 favorite. I am giving the ever slightest lean to Cameron here. Just a tiny, tiny slight lean. I don't necessarily think... I didn't put money on it. Let's put it that way. I'm not confident enough to put my money there, but I do think Cameron could get this done because although Kyori Lang has a better takedowns, I think Cameron will have the heavier hands, the bigger submission threats, and I think he's just the more dangerous guy, even though Kyori Lang is probably the more well-rounded fighter. So I'm going with danger here. Cameron Else is my very slight pick. What do you think?
Well, I have Kyori Lang in one of my parlays because I think that he is the much better fighter, can fight the entire 3 rounds if he needs to, where Cameron Else is kind of like that first round or bust guy. And if you're Kyori Lang, you really have to withstand that first round or bust because he's going to come forward and he's going to try to bait you into those firefights. And you mentioned Kyori Lang will get into those firefights, especially if he gets you up against the cage or he's up against the cage. He will fight out of those positions and just drop his hands and throw bombs. And in this matchup, if you do that versus Cameron Else, it's going to be an issue for you. So I mentioned our Tuesday breakdown. If you're Kyori Lang, I would shoot a double, a single, something inside the first minute of this fight, wear out Cameron Else, get to the second round, and then work on your striking. Because if you're trying to strike with this guy initially, it could be big, big issues. I think Kyori Lang is the much better fighter, more well-rounded fighter. I think he should win this fight, but if he gets knocked out or finished in the first round, it would not surprise me at all. So my pick is Kyori Lang. I think that he needs to wrestle in the first round, then he can do the striking in the second or third round. But, I got Kyori Lang in my parlay, so I feel good about it. But Cameron Else is a dangerous guy. And Kyori Lang's never been finished, too, so never.
Yeah, that is actually the one thing that concerns me is Kyori Lang
never been knocked out, sorry. He's been submitted, but never knocked out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Cameron Else can catch him, right? Caminel's is not like a wild, nasty jiu-jitsu guy, but he is dangerous, right? He'll snake you into something and catch you in a scramble. So he is dangerous
He
in that
submitted
regard.
Patty the Batty.
Patty the body.
Patty the Batty.
Okay, settle down. Just please relax. So, a lot of you guys, Jacob comes on here and talks about how tall he is, how tough he is, and just a lot of nonsense like that. And the reality is, Jacob's not a tall person. Okay, he's a little skinny. This picture actually makes him look a little jacked.
This is a doctor photo. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that.
Okay, so my wife is taller for a woman, but she's 5'10", 5'8". No, 5'10". She's not 5'10". What the hell's wrong with me? She's 5'8".
You literally just said 5'10".
No, 5'10's huge.
So you said she's 5'10". That was a Freudian. Okay. So you said she's 5'10" and she's on her tippy toes.
Okay, she's 5'8".
Should we really just focus on the breakdowns, guys? I mean, let's get to the fights. Let's get to So up next, we've got Tyson Pedro versus Ike Villanueva. And listen, Tyson Pedro, I mentioned in our Tuesday breakdown, he is a black belt in 7 different.
Okay, so you guys like to come in here and say who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight? Jacob or Angelo? And here's just a quick picture of Jacob's actual height. So he likes to pretend super tall. You can see this is not a horizontal line. My wife is 5'8". 5'8". Barely 5'8".
Tippy toes.
She's not on her tippy toes.
That's tippy
My wife's
toes.
5'8". Jacob is 5'9", right?
Look, I'm like hunched over, and she's like, If she's 5'8", in this picture, I'm 6'2".
But you're 6'3". Oh, you're 6'2". Okay.
If she's 5'10", like you said, I'm 6'2".
Sure. Okay. I think we're done with the how tall is Jacob nonsense because.
And your mom in the background is like 5'10" as well. Your stepmom.
That's my stepmother. She's 5 feet tall.
I might be 7 foot tall.
She's 5 feet tall max. I'm sure her green card says it's 4 something. Anyway, so I think we've put that nonsense to bed. Jacob he's not tall, but he's mighty. You're mighty, right? I'd say you're mighty.
I'm 5'11", 185 pounds.
Okay, sure. Okay. You want to do the Tyson Pedro breakdown?
I just did it. I did the whole thing while I was muted.
Okay. Well, we got Tyson Pedro, another guy coming back after a multi-year layoff. 3 full years. He's coming back to fight. You're just going to war in the comment section right now.
I'm banning everyone. I swear to God, those sons of bitch, I'm banning everyone.
I saw your face.
Not one comment. I swear to God, not one comment.
Just going to war in the comment section right now.
This is yeah.
I did set him up for that picture, by the way, because Jacob always jokes about being so tall. So I did set him up. I was like, Tiffany, when Jacob comes up these stairs, walk right up next to him.
She's literally like this on her tippy toes. And she's the tallest woman I know.
Yeah, I bet.
She's the only
woman. You only know my daughters and my wife. She's
the only woman I know. So
yeah. Anyway, Tyson Pedro coming back after a 3-year layoff. He's 7-3 overall. 2-3 in his last 5, but who cares? It has been a 3-year layoff, and there were injuries along the way. It was not a 3 years of let me focus on myself. It was 3 years repairing severe, legitimate issues that needed surgery. He's taking on Ike Villanueva, depending where you look him up. 18-13, clean boxer. Little older, his chin is not as sturdy as he would like it to be. He's 1-4 in his last 5. Looking for his first win in about a year. Tyson Pedro, he's probably not a name that you remember, but he has been in the UFC for a while. He has 6 fights in the UFC. He beat Paul Craig. He beat Khalil Roundtree. He's a pretty well-rounded guy, but he's definitely more of a grappler than anything. He does not have the best takedowns, but he has no problem charging forward, throwing bombs, and trying to get a takedown. If you overcommit to your strikes, he will drop, and he'll shoot a nice little double leg there. Ike Villanueva, his record is bad. His record is definitely bad, but he's got solid boxing, clean boxing. He's never just throwing one punch at a time. They're nice, clean combinations, solid footwork. He's a tough guy, and he's not really getting to the 3rd round very often, but he is a tough guy. He's staying in the pocket. He's throwing quality punches. His chin just can't take what it needs to take. It's probably a striker versus grappler matchup, but Ike Villanueva, definitely the striker. Solid takedown defense. 100% takedown defense, but the reality is he only defended one single takedown in the UFC. Tyson Pedro, solid grappler. He does have some striking. So Tyson Pedro's the pick here for sure. I put him in my big favorites parlay, but it has been 3 years. And if he comes out like a little sloppy, Ike Villanueva's got power, clean hands. He could definitely catch him. Ike Villanueva has a decent chance here at a plus 400 underdog. I'm not picking him. I did pick Tyson Pedro. I do have my favorites parlay, but, Ike Villanueva fighting a guy he hasn't fought in 3 years. He's not a bum. He's not a bum. What do you think, Jake?
100%. I'm a big Ike Villanueva guy, but if you're Ike Villanueva in this matchup, you have one path to victory, and that is to run across the octagon at the opening bell and jump all over this dude that has not fought in 3 years. Do not let him get his timing for his takedowns and his striking. He's probably going to want to warm up a little bit, throw some jabs out there, get loosened up. If you're Ike Villanueva, you're the better boxer in this matchup. Not the better overall striker, not the better grappler, not the better wrestler, but you're a very good boxer. And if you get in front of him and push him against the cage and just start throwing volume, not necessarily bombs, because you could get countered as you've done it, as it's happened in the past, but just start throwing volume. Boom, 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 boom. Make him feel uncomfortable early, and you might be able to get a lucky body shot, maybe catch him on the chin. The guy hasn't taken real shots for a while. I'm sure he's done some hard sparring, but, I think that's your path if you're Ike Villanueva. You can't just sit back and let him start feeling it out, because once he's comfortable, he's the better mixed martial artist. He's going to win the fight if you let him get comfortable. So if you're Ike Villanueva, ding, 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 you run across, jab, 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 get him against the fence, start throwing body shots, see if you can make something happen early to make him feel uncomfortable. Other than that, this should be a Tyson Pedro play all the way. I mentioned as I was getting muted, he's a black belt in seven different combat sports, which I didn't even know there was 7 different combat. Can you name 7 different combat sports?
Probably.
Let's go. I would love to hear it.
All right. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling,
Very good.
Kickboxing, boxing, Muay Thai, Krav Maga, Kung Fu, karate. That's 8. We're done.
Relax. Okay, relax.
Yeah, judo.
Yeah, and he's actually the he's probably in like black belts and like all
Sambo.
the weird ones too.
Combat.
Yeah,
Sambo.
I don't think I saw on there like judo or this.
Yeah,
I think it's all the weird stuff. I think it's all like the whatever it is, but yeah, his brother-in-law is Tai Tuivasa. He's named after Mike Tyson. The guy's a born fighter. He should dominate, but I'm pulling for Ike, man. My pick is Tyson Pedro, but I like Ike Villanueva. I'm pulling for him to come through on the upset, but I got to go with Tyson, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be rooting for Ike just for, I like that he's older. He gets in there. He puts on, he fights. Like, he goes out there and he fights, and he's not untalented. But I literally have a parlay with Pedro, Andrade, and Alexander Romanov, minus 130, 3-fight parlay. So, I'll need Pedro to win, but I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of ridiculous upsets today. It's kind of a mediocre fight card, so some wild upsets will make it pretty entertaining. I would actually love to watch Dean Barry get flatlined. I have no idea why.
Yeah,
I have
hopefully
something
there's just a lot
against
of
that
finishes.
guy.
That's usually what saves these cards is a lot of finishes. But
yeah,
look at some of these matchups. It's I don't know.
I hear you, Nicholas. You're in the thick of it. I've been up since 3:30, but not my kids sleep full 12 hours, so I just woke up, couldn't fall back asleep. So
You want to hear about my dream? It was a very weird dream.
Did you have to change?
It wasn't a wet dream. But it was a dream that I went on vacation, and it's supposed to be like usually.
But Montana De La Rosa.
Yeah, and it was me. It was Amanda Hebos. It was Anya Ariana Lipsky. But yeah, I went on vacation, beautiful vacation, and the whole dream was me. They took our luggage from the car. And they were supposed to put it in our rooms. It was not my room. So literally the entire night was one dream of me just walking around this beautiful vacation trying to find my luggage. It was the most bizarre thing in the world. Like, I just could not find my goddamn luggage. Just going to this and this and the front
Shouldn't have
desk.
checked the bag.
It was
tell
crazy.
You every time you fly, don't check a bag. But you
was
insist
unreal.
on checking a bag like you've never flown before. It's absolutely ridiculous.
And everyone is like enjoying their vacation. It's just me, just wandering around the whole night. I even woke up, went back to sleep. I'm still looking for my goddamn luggage.
Shouldn't have checked the bag. Let's take a look at your guys' votes. Guys, go to wewantpicks.com/vote. We're going to be doing all the voting, all the parlays, everything from the website because we stream to Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all the things. So our website will be the central hub there. Anyway, wewantpicks.com/vote. 10 of you have Tyson, or 9 of you have Tyson Pedro. 1 outlier, Ike Villanueva. So 90%.
I think that was
This
Ike.
is probably, it could be. You know, it's funny. So we talk about the fighters. We break down the fighters. I don't shy away from, whatever. So I tag the fighters in all of our videos go on Twitter, and I tag all the fighters in it. And sometimes they get a little pissy, but sometimes they retweet. Sometimes they agree. But I'm not going to talk about people and
They're not going to
shy
say
away
shit to
from
me.
them.
I know that.
Oh, because you're so tall. Do I have to pull up the picture of you and my wife again? There goes that narrative. You lost that whole thing.
You should see the pictures I have of me and your wife.
If you weren't absolutely terrified of her, that would matter. But I mean,
It would have been funny if you were just like all of a sudden it got like super awkward. Like, whoa.
Tiffany. But I know you're like literally afraid of her. Like she looks in your direction.
Literally. That's not a joke either.
She's terrifying. Next up at UFC Vegas 52, we have Dwight Grant taking on. That was good. Dwight Grant taking on Sergey Kanzako. One of you said you were going to do all the phonetic pronunciations of their names in the Discord. So I'm filming Quick Picks tomorrow. I forget who said they were going to do that. Throw it in there under the My Picks channel so I don't butcher some of these names tomorrow. But anyway, Dwight Grant taking on Sergey Kanzako. Dwight Grant 11-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. Coming off a split decision loss to Francisco Trinaldo. And he's taking on Sergey, 27-6, 3-2 in his last 5. Coming back after a 2-year layoff. Again, that is a theme on this card. Dwight Grant, super tall, super long. He has really clean striking, and he does use his range well. He has a ton of power, solid takedown defense, but his cardio can be a bit questionable. He's got 2 losses in the UFC. His loss against Trinaldo was a split decision that came down to control time, and his other loss was to Daniel Rodriguez. He got knocked out, but he had Daniel Rodriguez like 90% out. And then he chased, got exhausted, and then he got stopped. So he blew his wad there, but he does have power. Sergey's a creative striker. He's got great speed, solid power, good combinations. He has excellent counter striking, and he maintains forward pressure. He can march forward, throwing bombs from his hips, or fight a technical kickboxing match. I love his pressure, his pace, and his ability to snatch up submissions in scrambles. Honestly, when I broke this down, I did the notes. I picked Sergey, then I flipped back to Dwight. I'm back on the Dwight side, but I totally get why Sergey's the favorite here. He probably should be the favorite. Very well-rounded, very talented everywhere. But I like Dwight's power. I love his power. The fact that Sergey hasn't fought, and he's a 2-year layoff. I just love Dwight's power. Hopefully he learned a lesson from the Francisco Trinaldo fight with the takedowns and the control time there. Has a little more sense of urgency, but I like Dwight to win this. He is my pick, but I mean, Sergey's the favorite, and he probably should be. What do you think, Jakey?
Yeah, I would like Dwight if he had the size advantage in this fight, because he's very good at using his length, right? But in this matchup, they're almost the same size, so his length isn't going to be quite as factor as it is in previous fight. And I mentioned that Trinaldo fight. That was almost very disappointing because he was losing that fight. Trinaldo got a point deduction that 3rd round. So Dwight Grant had an opportunity to win that 3rd round and get a draw out of that decision. And he was just taken down almost like after the point deduction and came back and was taken down again and just kind of laid there. It was like no sense of urgency, as you mentioned. There was no real fight. It was like that's your chance. Like, oh my God, I have a chance to get a draw out of this. Maybe even like do something crazy and get a finish. And just didn't see that urgency in the face. I think it was this face off. They were face off, and Dwight Grant did like one of those. Sergey did not flinch and actually just kind of started laughing. I think he's going to have the speed advantage in this. Dwight Grant does have power, and he's very precise with that power. That's why he has such good power, because everything is right where it should be. I just don't think he's going to be faster than Sergey in those strikes. I think when he comes with those, Sergey's going to be able to parry him, come back with his own counter strikes. Sergey is the faster striker in this matchup, and I really think that's the difference. He's got good enough takedown defense if Dwight Grant tries to grapple in this matchup. I just think he's a little bit faster, a little bit slicker in the striking. That's why I went with the Sergey side in this matchup.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Like I said, I have a spreadsheet in front of me with the fighters' names, their recent records, recent fights, all my notes, and then I have a box I put a check for my pick. I had Sergey checked, and then I was like, I got to go with Dwight Grant. I don't like the layoff. I do like Dwight's power, and I'm hoping he learned a lesson from, like you said, that Trinaldo fight. He could have definitely gotten it back, and he could have absolutely, made something happen there, and he didn't. But, I'm going to stick with Dwight for the pick there. Let's see, before I move on, let's see who you guys picked. All right, we've got 11 votes, 6-5. So slight lean from the fans on Dwight Grant. So Dwight Grant is the underdog, and the majority of you were saying you think that Dwight Grant wins. Very interesting. I get it. I'm on that side, so I'll be rooting for him. He's definitely one of the more live underdogs on the card. And how much is he? $7,900 in DraftKings? It's not a great price, but definitely one of the more live underdogs. Then we have, I'll let you do it, Jacob. I
already got it pulled up. Look at this guy right here, guys. Look at that guy. You kidding me? You're telling me that this guy is going to lose the fight? Wish it would focus so you can see those abs, the definition. There it goes. A little bit. Oh, there we go. Woo! You could tell, and I told Angelo this. If you look at this weigh-in picture, this is a catchweight. He looks fantastic at 190. Looks like he looks fantastic. But I could tell. I looked at previous weigh-in. It's not focusing back. There we go. I could tell from previous. I went back and looked at previous weigh-in pictures, then this picture, and I told Angelo his lats look a little bigger. What that tells me is if you look at wrestlers, when you look at wrestlers always have those big lats. Angelo, stand up and show me your lats. Show me your lats spread. Angelo.
I'm not doing that.
Okay. But wrestlers normally have big lats. His what the hell was that?
I'm just trying.
Those are your traps.
Oh.
I'm talking about lats. These are your lats back here.
Oh.
There you go. Anyway, wrestlers usually have big lats, and it looks like his lats are more defined. That tells me he's been wrestling more. I think he comes out and shoots a double leg, dumps this dude on his ass, and then submits him. If you're looking for a knockout or bust for Jordan Wright, he's very slick on the ground. I think he's been working on his grappling. We'll see if that is if it ends up that way. But this is my lock of the week. I feel great about it. I cannot believe he's an underdog. What are the odds now? Are they changing at all? He's still a plus 165, so they actually moved a little bit wider. Jordan Wright struggles against people with actual pure knockout power, and Barry, he's known as a power bar, but he doesn't really knock out power. He doesn't really knock out people anymore. He's more of a volume guy. He's not real fast. When I look at Andrade, I don't see a guy that can beat a dynamic striker in Jordan Wright. And obviously, anything can happen. We've seen Jordan Wright get knocked out before. But I think that's actually a good thing in this matchup. I think he takes his time. He's a more dynamic striker, so the opportunities are going to be there. He doesn't need to rush things. And if he wants to grapple and use his jiu-jitsu, he's very slick on the ground as well. So I'm obviously Jordan Wright on the way. I've got 2 units on him to win, just the money line bet, and we'll see what happens. People are saying, do you think it's going to be inside the distance? Obviously, I hope so. But if he starts wrestling and stuff, and Marc-Andre's only been knocked out once. It was 2 months ago, but that was the first time he's ever been knocked out. So maybe that's a trend, or maybe he's tough enough to withstand the Jordan Wright onslaught. We'll see what happens. But I'm Beverly Hills Ninja 100%. Jordan Wright is going to look fantastic. He already looks fantastic. He's going to get this win.
Yeah, and I'm also on the Jordan Wright side. The biggest reason is because of Marc-Andre. Marc-Andre was just knocked out. Not even 3 months ago. 2 months ago, 100% flatlined on the canvas, out. 8 weeks is not enough time to unscramble your brains. He was leveled. I cannot believe he's not still suspended by the commission. I thought KOs and TKOs were 90-day suspensions, and his might have been 90 days, and then he, got a doctor to clear him, and he sent it to the commission, and then they lifted the suspension. But man, it's just too soon to be coming back like that. And I have known fighters that have been wobbled or knocked out and then come back too soon, and they just never recover the way they're supposed to. They never do. And I just, I just don't think it's good for Barol. Jordan Wright, he's a rangy karate style striker. He has a 100% finish rate. And that's on both sides, right? He's been stopped twice, and he stopped 12 other people. He's never been to the scorecards. He does have big power. He's always looking for a finish. His in-and-out karate style does work really well for him when he strikes both on his entries and on his exits. Yeah, there's Barol out. And then he's about to take 2 more big punches while out.
Look at that punch about to come in, right on the temple, man.
And that does land. And like, I'm not trying to clown the guy. Like, that happens, and that's going to happen to most fighters in their careers. I just think it's much more important to take the time and recover. Take 6 months. You don't need to bounce right back.
And if you look at Jordan Wright getting knocked out, he got knocked out his last fight, but as he's knocked out, he's still rolling. He's looking for legs. He's trying to grab legs. So he's not like flatline. I mean, he has been flatline, but I mean, he was still like knowing what's going on, grabbing stuff, and the ref had to stop it for his own good, and thank God. But it
also wasn't 2 months ago. Like, I'm not arguing,
right? Yeah.
Because Barol has a better chin than Jordan Wright does. But it's only been 2 months. That is just not enough time. So I'm also on the right side, mostly because of that. I'm not a doctor. And if I've got this way off and that dude's chin is a... Marc-Andre, with 100% of Marc-Andre's chin, beats Jordan Wright.
And here's the biggest difference I forgot to mention as well. Well, maybe, but this is the biggest thing that people don't realize is now he has the beard to protect the chin. So the beard will protect his chin. He's going to be fine, guys, and he's going to win this fight. Look at that. I mean, he looks fantastic.
No, in all seriousness, Marc-Andre at 100%, and this is short notice, but Marc-Andre at 100%, I think he beats Jordan Wright. Do you agree?
No, absolutely not.
Clown.
Absolutely not. Nobody is going to beat Jordan Wright. That dude's going to be champion outside in 2023. No doubt in my mind.
Okay. Well, Jacob's still in character, I guess. Maybe I need to show that picture and humble you again. Bring you back down to reality for 10 minutes before you forget. Anyway, I'm also on the Jordan Wright side. I just did a very long rant as to why. If you guys want $50, go to wewantpicks.com/bets. We are giving away $50 to anybody that goes to wewantpicks.com/bets, signs up with one of our 5 betting partners, and makes a deposit. We send you $50. Cash out, PayPal, Venmo. It is that simple. wewantpicks.com/bets. And I don't know why the bot isn't posting in here, but
lazy.
It's broken.
I gave him the day off.
Let's see who you guys have winning here.
Woo!
We have 11 votes. Guys, go to wewantpicks.com/vote.
That's for the underdog, too. That's 9 for the underdog, baby.
That's 9 of you. 81.82% of you are saying Jordan Wright is going to win this fight. So 2 fights in a row, you guys are on the dog. And it'll be an interesting card because, it's funny. I forget when it was. It was like 3 weeks ago, maybe. I forget. One of these cards, everybody was on the dogs, and like none of them won. None of them won. All the favorites won. Everybody looked like an idiot. It was not a good card. I don't think this will be one of those cards, but it obviously is very possible that it'll be very possible that a couple of these dogs.
This is going to be one of the best lock of the week wins of all time. This is going to put me on the map for lock of the week.
On the map. All right. Well, let's move on to the next fight, and we have another short notice fight. We have Preston Parsons now taking on Evan Elder. Preston Parsons is 9-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off a KO loss to Daniel Rodriguez. We mentioned him before. He's just knocking everybody on this card out. And he's taking on Evan Elder. Evan Elder stepping up on short notice. He's 7-0 overall, obviously 5-0 in his last 5. He's coming off a win in December. Evan Elder is a lightweight. He's stepping up on short notice, making his UFC debut to fight at welterweight. But he didn't look that undersized that weigh-ins. Evan Elder, he was booked to fight May 6th. So what is that, 2 weeks away? Something like that. And that's just a few weeks away. So this part of his camp, he's not cutting his weight yet. He's maintaining his weight. He's obviously cleaning up his eating and training. He's not cutting his weight yet. So I imagine he's in good shape. He'll be a solid size. He'll be undersized, but he doesn't have to gain weight. He'll actually still probably have to cut to make welterweight. but just a tiny, tiny bit. He is a lightweight, I mentioned, and skill-wise, he's a very talented guy. He's pretty good everywhere. He's got a loose striking style where he lands heavy leg kicks and solid punching combinations. He's got solid takedowns as well, and when he hits the mat, he stays very composed, and he will methodically work for control while managing to land strikes. He has solid submission defense, and he's definitely going to need it in this fight. And Evan Elder, the read on him for a while now has been he's the next big thing. He's the next big thing. He's the next generation of fighter. I don't think he's that good, based on the fights that I've seen. That just seems a little bit too much. But he's definitely a talented guy, and I think he started training MMA at like 8 years old or something like that. So he's a true MMA fighter. He doesn't have a background in anything else. Preston Parsons is coming off a short notice UFC debut. He did lose that fight, but again, it was short notice and it was his UFC debut. So exactly what Evan Elder is doing here. He's a very slick grappler who has a 100% submission finish rate. So all 9 of his wins are submissions. He moves forward aggressively, throwing big shots, and he sets up those takedowns. He's coming off that KO loss, but other than that, he does have a pretty solid chin. It's an interesting fight. I honestly went back and forth here. So I've got my notes. When I recorded the breakdown, I have a checkbox next to Preston Parsons. He's my win, or my pick. And then I did the breakdown, and I started talking, and I started thinking about it, and I picked Evan Elder. I'm split here. I think these odds are probably correct. They're giving a little bit of juice to Preston Parsons here because he is the established UFC fighter, but I'm still going to lean Evan Elder. I still think Evan Elder is... He just has a higher ceiling, more potential, a more well-rounded guy. But Preston Parsons is going to be super dangerous, throwing big bombs and dangerous on the ground. So I like Evan Elder to win this fight, but it's going to be interesting. What do you think, Jake?
Go back to that last graphic. My lock of the week this week, my backup lock of the week.
More on Monkey Knife Fight. Move on. What an absolute.
Really ruined that.
Yeah.
Didn't you mention too? Evan Elder is that was going to be a good one too. I was really feeling good about that. The delivery was going to be fantastic. But did you mention Evan Elder is a prospect from Michael Chandler? He trains with Michael Chandler. Is that what you said? Yeah,
he's like Michael Chandler's #1 training partner. He's at Sanford MMA. They speak highly of him, and he was in a training camp to fight in 2 weeks.
And Sanford MMA is struggling. We've documented that in the last few fight cards. They have I don't know who the last person to win on that fight card is.
They just they just had a win.
Speaking of, I think Marc-Andre is at Sanford, right? I think he's at Sanford MMA. So not to harp on the
and they just had Philo is at Sanford, so that was a win. But they have had a bit of a slump.
A little bit of a skid. Yeah, but I agree. I think if this was not short notice, if this was a full camp, even maybe if he had another fight under his belt in the UFC, I think Evan Elder is the more well-rounded fighter. I think he's got more ways to win in this fight. Unfortunately, Preston, being that specialist that he is with the submission game, this quite simply, if you're taking the Evan Elder side, I understand it. If you're taking the Preston Parsons side, I understand it. For me, personally, I've picked a lot of underdogs on this card, so I got to play the odds here and go with Preston Parsons. He's the favorite for a reason. He does have that clear path to victory. Whether he's able to get it is yet to be seen. I'm not actively rooting for Preston Parsons. I think this could end up being one of the fight of the nights. A well-rounded guy against a specialist. There could be some weird scrambles, and we'll see what happens. But I got to play the odds here. I've picked a lot of underdogs, so I'm going to play the Preston Parsons side. But I don't feel too great about it. Strike absorbs per minute. That seems like a lot.
Yeah, he's hittable. It's only one fight though. I mean, it's only one fight worth of data. But yes, and he was knocked out. But he also landed six. Six landed per minute is a lot.
Six.
Let's see how you guys voted. We want picks.com/vote. 11 voters, wrong fight. Spoiler alert. Where the hell? Oh, this probably wasn't added. The web guy didn't add this one. So let's ignore this for the voting. And we will move on to Charles Air Jourdain taking on Lando Venata. So I will say Lando Venata looked a little sucked out at weigh-ins. Didn't look great. Did not look great. And what's funny is he even posted...
Look flat out awful.
Yeah. And it's funny because he posted a picture of himself at weigh-ins. he posted it to Instagram saying easy work. And I just look at the picture like that did not look like
I don't know
easy
if it's
work.
focus or not, but you can see his face just all sunken in. He looked awful.
No, he did not look good. But the reality is Lando Venata is a lightweight. This is only his second fight at featherweight. He's came down. He had a successful featherweight debut against Mike Grundy where he was able to get that done. He was taken down several times, but still outstruck Mike Grundy and then got that done. Lando Venata is a flashy striker. He's got crazy kicks, spinning attacks. He comes out fast. He's absolutely not a slow starter. His takedown defense is just okay. And this is a striker versus striker matchup. Charles Jourdain. Oh, the web guy texted me saying it's on there. So, well, too late. I moved on. My bad. Yeah, maybe it's in a different order. Okay, I'm going. Now, you derailed me, Josh. You derailed me. Charles Jourdain, he's a fun come-forward striker with a great chin. He's incredibly fast, has great timing, and he's willing to take chances with spinning and flying attacks. He's coming off the very first decision win of his entire career, and that was against Andre Uhl, and the last 30 seconds of that fight was just Charles Jourdain stomping forward and just screaming and throwing bombs. Both of these guys fight very similarly, honestly. They're very similar fighters. But the difference is Lando Venata will wrestle. He will actively wrestle, actively throw out the wrestling. Charles Jourdain, well-rounded guy, he probably has wrestling in his back pocket, but he doesn't use it, right? Where Lando Venata will use it. I'm positive he's going to come out here, do some crazy shit, and then shoot some takedowns and try to wrestle. I like Lando Venata to win. I know people love Charles Jourdain. I know he's super tough, but I think people are like confusing entertaining and talented. Well, Charles Jourdain is talented, but people may be confusing entertaining with like, you're definitely going to get a win, because Charles Jourdain is stupid entertaining, but his entertaining tendencies, he can fall behind, especially against somebody like Lando, who also will do some of the crazy stuff, but will stay composed and wrestle. I like Lando Venata to get it done. I like him to work in some grappling to do it. I'm on the underdog side here as well. What do you think, Shaky boy?
Yeah, the weigh-ins have me a little bit worried, but this isn't the first time he's made that cut. He cut it that same weight in his last fight, and he looked fantastic come fight day. So hopefully he has that same energy and is able to jump on Charles Jourdain early, because Charles Jourdain, you said, is the more wild fighter, the more fun fighter to watch. But Lando Venata is the better all-around MMA mixed martial artist in this matchup, and Charles Jourdain has a tendency to fall behind, and that's why he gets so wild, is because he's like chasing finishes, he's running guys down, and he will lose fights. I mean, the guy has it's only 4 losses, but he's not this undefeated guy who's just knocking everybody out. He does wild stuff, he's fun to watch, but Lando Venata from top to bottom is a better fighter in this matchup. I'm surprised that he's the underdog. I guess people are biased towards Charles Jourdain. I like Charles Jourdain, but I picked against him as a lock of the week before with Marcelo Rojo. Marcelo Rojo came out and didn't really dominate the first round, but clearly won the first round of that matchup. And Marcelo Rojo is a good fighter, a fun fighter, but he's nothing compared to Lando Venata. Lando Venata shouldn't really have any issues in this matchup unless Charles Jourdain kind of baits him into this wild brawl and the weight cut starts getting to Lando Venata, and then Charles Jourdain does what he does, takes over late second round, and then just dominates the third round for a decision or a weird finish. But yeah, I'm Lando Venata all the way. The scale has me a little bit worried, but I'm sticking with him. I thought about maybe flipping, but like, no, when you're picking fighters, you pick the better fighter. Lando Venata is the better fighter in this matchup, so I'm sticking with Lando.
Yeah, I think we're both on the Venata side. Charles Jourdain, super entertaining, is always live because of his craziness. But I agree. You got to go with they're both crazy, and Lando has the wrestling. Is honestly, that's my logic. And he'll be bigger at the end of the day. I do not like how he looked at weigh-ins. That could be a problem. Let's take a look at the voting. WeWantPicks.com/vote. All of the voting will be on the website from now on, just because we stream to Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. We
Pornhub.
Stream multiple places.
Brazzers.
So
OnlyFans.
Brazzers.
RedTube.
Okay. So are you
I can keep going.
Are you reading off your browser?
I can keep going.
Yeah. Lando Venata, you guys are also on that side. 8 of you voting for Lando Venata. 3 of you. Guys, we've got like 150 people watching this and 11 votes. WeWantPicks.com/vote. Go vote, and we'll take care of it. From there, we'll cover the your guys. What the hell's wrong with me? We will review your voting.
Hang in there, sweetie.
From
It's
WeWantPicks.com/vote. I'm having a stroke.
It's okay, sweetie.
I'm exhausted. I'm moving. Lots of stuff going on. Guys, speaking of stuff going on, I'll give you $50. Go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. Let us know after you do. We give you $50 as a thank you for supporting us and our partners. WeWantPicks.com/bet. This fight's canceled. Manel Kopp pissed
Get it
hot.
out of here.
Or his blood was, I don't know if it was piss or blood, honestly, but
I'm taking that as a win because he had to pull out and I picked Sue. So I'm already want to know.
Then we've got Macy Barber taking on Montana De La Rosa. This should be an interesting fight, and I honestly am a little more split than I should be here, but Macy Barber, 9-2 overall, 3-2 in her last 5, coming off a questionable win in her last fight against Miranda Maverick. Montana De La Rosa, 2-1 in her last 5, and she's coming off a phenomenal win over Anna Lipsky, where she showcased her striking. Macy Barber is a good striker. She's got pretty good boxing. She's got improved wrestling. She's not a grappler in style, but she has well-timed takedowns when she needs them. She's very tough physically. Mentally, she can have some issues. We literally watched her break after the fight with, who's the nicest woman in the world? What is her name?
Roxanne
Modafferi. We watched her mentally break in that fight. She's coming off that win over Miranda Maverick last summer, but I did mention that it's kind of a sketchy win. Miranda Maverick won that fight. It was a bad decision, at least in my opinion. Montana De La Rosa, she's a really tough wrestler with a very straightforward game plan, and her wrestling is real. It's not MMA wrestling. She didn't learn how to wrestle when she started fighting. She wrestled her whole life and then started fighting. So she's got some solid wrestling. Similar story to Carla Esparza, right? That's why Carla Esparza's grappling is so dominant. It's not grappling she learned while wrestling, or while fighting. She wrestled in middle school, in high school. She wrestled. Montana's not as good as Carla Esparza, but she is a very good wrestler, and she will shoot takedowns. She's very effective. She's pretty big for the weight class as well. She moved her training camp to Team Elevation, and you see those improvements in her striking. She doubled Ariana Lipsky's strikes, and she put her away in the second round. This is a tough fight to call. Everything, like my gut, everything is saying go with Montana. She's got the wrestling, and her striking has improved. But I do think Macy Barber is really, really talented. This is the last time I'm going to give Macy Barber any credit, right? She either is as talented as she's supposed to be. She is going to be as good as she's supposed to be. She's going to showcase the takedown defense, showcase the kickboxing, or she's a bust, right? Because this, arguably, she could be 3 losses in a row, and this could be her 4th. So we'll find out how good Macy Barber actually is. I like Macy Barber to win this fight. I do believe her striking is good enough. But if I'm going against my gut here and not picking the wrestler, which is what I do 9 out of 10 times, and Montana wins, then you guys will never hear me pick against the wrestler again.
So here's my question for you then, I guess. And this is like a legit, I'm not trying to be a smart ass as I typically am, but this is like a legit question. You see Macy Barber winning. How do you see her winning this fight? Just stuffing takedowns, winning a striking decision, basically?
I actually see her stuffing takedowns, winning the striking, and getting some of her own takedowns. I say this all the time. It is so much easier to finish a takedown than to defend one. And I think Macy can defend a few and then shoot a few of her own well-timed. I mean, she took down Miranda Maverick.
If she gets taken down, do you think she's able to get back up? Because that's where I see the difference. I think that if Macy's able to take Montana down, I think she can win a scramble, get back to her feet. But the second that Montana gets Macy on her back, I don't think she's getting back up, and she can just ride out those rounds. And that's kind of why I picked Montana in this matchup. Macy is the better overall fighter, but the path is just so clear there that I just see Montana is just such a good wrestler, such a good control wrestler too. Once she gets girls down, she usually can control them pretty well. And in Montana, if you want to control me, that's fine as well. So I'm taking Montana in this matchup because of the wrestling and being able to control her once she's on her back. But if she didn't get the takedowns, she's gonna be in big trouble, big trouble.
I literally agree with everything there. The only reason I didn't pick Montana is because I do think Macy Barber is going to be a big deal. I really do. But I could be way off there. So Montana, very good wrestler, very clear path to victory. I was surprised she was the underdog. or at least is what is she +1? I mean, I was surprised.
I
she's
texted
as
you
big
later
of an
this
underdog as
week.
she
I
is.
said I should have made her my lock of the week. I mean, that should have been lock of the week.
You
Montana, I'm
absolutely
sorry.
should
I know
have.
you're watching. I mean, we've been communicating on Instagram and stuff. So I appreciate you watching. I just appreciate you supporting the channel. And next fight you'll be lock of the week for sure.
Oh, good. I'm so glad you two were able to connect. You
we're
guys
connected. Physically,
also
spiritually,
okay,
mentally,
I bet. Isn't that from a
mostly
movie?
physical. Mostly physical.
Okay, settle down. You guys all voted, not all, most of you, 58% of you voted for Macy Barber to win this matchup. Let us know in the comments why. I'm curious if you just agree with me that she'll defend a few of those takedowns and get the better of the striking exchanges. Montana's hands looked really good in her last fight, but I think Macy Barber is a better striker than Ariana Lipski. She has better footwork, better timing. Her hands are a little faster, hits with a little more sting. So I like Macy Barber to get the win. 58% of you do as well, but I'm not going to die on that hill because I'm with you, Jacob. I think Montana can get the takedowns and ride that out. Then we have the most lopsided odds in the history of UFC. We have Alexander Romanov at -2,000 taking on short notice Chase Sherman at +950. Here's the thing. Alexander Romanov, he's 15-0. His last fight, he absolutely destroyed Jared Vanderaa. But before that, he arguably lost to Juan Espino. And he had some holes, right? We showed his cardio could be an issue. He showed his striking's not as amazing, and he can be taken down. But reality is, he's a little beast, man. I say little, he's massive. He's a beast. He's jacked. He comes charging forward, running at you, drilling through takedowns, and just Godzilla's his way. His nickname's King Kong, but just starts pounding away on top. So I do think Alexander Romanov dominates this fight. I will say at weigh-ins, he looked amazing. This picture, he looks big and like a little soft. No, he looked great at weigh-ins. You're nodding or you're rocking?
No, I'm nodding. That's what, when I was watching the weigh-ins. Everyone, when he came to weigh in, even the whole chat that was watching the weigh-ins was like, "Oh man, he looks fantastic. He looked cut. He looks." And maybe that's sometimes people get. I mean, muscles take a lot of energy, so sometimes people can.
Well, and
go
his
too
cardio
muscle,
wasn't great before that, so. But anyway, Alexander Romanov is a giant wrestling beast. Chase Sherman is a very busy boxer. That is literally what he is. He's the boxer. He's busy, stupid tough. He's not a guy that you can put away easily. He's not a guy that's going to go away easily. He's got plenty of cardio, plenty of volume, but he doesn't have much power. And that is why Romanov is a -2,000 favorite. Because Chase Sherman doesn't have the one-punch knockout ability. He just doesn't have it. So he's going to be jabbing away, and he's going to get taken down, beaten up on bottom. I honestly think he probably will survive a little bit. This may go 1.5. Is this a 1.5 line? Check the odds.
It is. Under 1.5 is -300.
Oh, I'm going to bet the over 1.5 right now.
That's +240.
Oh,
Over
hell
1.5. If I'm obviously Romanov should be. He's actually -2,500 now on some books, which is just insane. If I'm Chase Sherman, literally, I would just run around the octagon. Just make him chase you for like a round and a half, just round and round and round. Make him chase you, get him tired, and then maybe have a chance. Because if he gets his hands on you early, you're gonna get taken down, and he's gonna do the double hammer fist into your chin bones, and it's not gonna feel good. So if I'm Chase Sherman, literally just on your bike, run, get out of the first round. Hopefully he gets tired, and then you got a shot. But yeah, these odds these are still kind of crazy. The biggest odds before this is Ronda Rousey against somebody in Brazil was a -1,600, and that was Ronda Rousey in her heyday, just judo throwing every single person into an armbar. Nobody could even touch her. Where I know Romanov is dominant, but these are heavyweights. Chase Sherman's a big guy. These odds seem a little bit wild to me. I could see like -1,000, something like that, but -2,000 is like a absolute foregone conclusion, and it should be. We'll see.
It is. I mean, frankly, it is. I just threw a unit on the over. Shoot my shot, see what happens. I just threw a full unit on the over, only because Chase Sherman is very tough. I don't think he has a shot to win this fight, but I think he can survive. I mean, he's a tough guy. Granted, he will get
what's
taken down.
interesting
He will get
is
calmed.
the does not go the distance is minus 650. But if you want to play the Romanov side, you can get him by KO or TKO for plus 125, or by submission at plus 100.
Wait, Romanov to win by KO or TKO is plus 125?
125 when he's a 2,000 favorite.
How is that? They think he's going to submit him?
Well, and plus submission is plus 100. So you could almost play both of those and come out on top, right? I guess maybe not both of them, but
No.
you could get round one, I guess, is minus 225.
I'm just surprised take KO or TKO is plus money. Oh, well. Well, it is. I just bet the over. I'm not super confident in it, but it's plus 220. And Chase Sherman's a pretty tough guy. So, I mean, didn't it take him more than a round and a half to put away Jared Vandera? Let's see when that was.
I played the KO TKO, which means he's going to win by submission.
Yeah, in round 3. Let me just look real quick. Romanov beat Jared Vandera 2 minutes, in the second round at 4:43. So you would have hit the over against Jared Vandera. And Chase Sherman is tougher than Jared Vandera is. So I'm confident in the over, plus 220. I'm not super confident, but I just threw a unit on it. Let's see what happens. And let's see who you guys voted for. Pull this up. I mean, I know who you guys voted for, but 12. 12 of you, all Romanov, nobody on Chase Sherman, obviously, right? Like that. I completely agree. And these odds are absurd, but I agree with them because the only way Chase Sherman wins is if he can somehow one punch knockout. And that is just not who he is. He doesn't have that power. He's a volume guy. He'll stay in your face. He'll stay tough. He'll throw a million shots, but he doesn't have the one-punch knockout power. And the last thing I mentioned, Chase Sherman was cut. They cut him like 2 weeks ago. Cut from the UFC. Let go. Done. Now he's stepping up on short notice. Good for him. He's got another crack. He will lose this. He'll be on a 4-fight UFC skid. But everybody knows you do the UFC a favor like this, they give you another fight. So he will be back after this, and hopefully he gets a win. And then he can try to get himself a new little streak going there. Then we've got the co-main event of the evening, and I go back and forth on my pick here, but we've got Clay Guida taking on Claudio Puelles. Clay Guida, 2-3 in his last 5, 37-21 overall, coming off one of the most impressive comeback wins you will ever see. Claudio Puelles, 11-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, riding a 4-fight win streak. Clay Guida is a legend. He's 40 years old, though. He's definitely starting to slow down, but even a slow Clay Guida has a ridiculous pace, very good cardio, relentless wrestling, solid striking, and he just never stops moving. And as I do his breakdown every time, I'm like, my God, what am I doing with my pick here? But he is coming off that insane come-from-behind win over Leandro Santos. Leandro Santos, though, is also 40 years old. He basically had Clay Guida knocked out. But Clay Guida was able to survive, got it back, came out there fresh as hell, and was able to submit Leandro Santos. But he was almost knocked out himself. And he's one of the most exciting guys.
And he hasn't been knocked out since 2016.
Okay. And he was just submitted 2 years ago, though. So that could
He
happen.
hasn't been knocked out, so.
Claudio Puelles, fantastic grappler. He's coming off a knee bar win over Chris Grutzmacher. Before that, he had a decision win over Jordan Levitt after a 2-year layoff. He's only 26 years old. He's got a good amount of experience, though, even for his age. He's a grappler. He uses kicks to keep the distance, and he's never out of a fight because of how live he is with his submissions. Felipe Silva was going to win a decision there, and then he snatched up a knee bar there as well. He averages around 3 takedowns per fight, but he does have a negative striking differential of almost 1-2, so he is hit quite a bit. I don't think that'll matter here because Clay Guida's not knocking anybody out, right? The way Clay Guida wins is he just wears you down, grinds you out, takes advantage if you're gassed, but he's not a knockout guy. I like Claudio Puelles to win here, but frankly, I'm nervous about that. I do like Puelles to win. The reality is Clay Guida is 40. He was on a bit of a rough stretch. He lost to Mark Madsen in a striking match. A striking match he lost. Then what's his name almost clubbed him out. Clay Guida's able to survive because he's super tough, got tons of cardio. I'm just going with the young buck here. Younger, dangerous on the ground. Clay Guida is super tough, so I'm going to be nervous about Claudio losing a decision, but I said it, so I'll stick with it. Claudio Playlist is the pick.
Yeah, and actually Clay Guida is the underdog now. He was the favorite. It's kind of been going back and forth. It's basically a pick 'em fight, but he's a slight dog now. If you're going to pick Puelles, I think that the only way that he can win this fight is to get a submission win. And can he do it? I think he can if there's some scrambles, right? Because that's where he lives. He just lives for scrambles and finds opportunities in scrambles. So if Clay Guida, maybe he initiates some takedowns. I wouldn't do that if you're Clay Guida. Maybe if Puelles is shooting a takedown, Guida, instead of defending takedown, tries to scramble, end up on top on his own, and that's where he gets in trouble. But when I look at this matchup, Clay Guida is a good wrestler, can defend takedowns, can get his own takedowns. I wouldn't try to get a takedown versus Puelles. I just keep this on the feet, turn this into a kickboxing match, and he should be able to pretty much dominate this matchup if it's on the feet. Obviously, if there's some scrambles, if it gets to the ground, Puelles is better in pure jiu-jitsu. But if you're talking about wrestling, Guida's a better wrestler. He's a better striker in this matchup. And Puelles is a guy that he's kind of like methodical in his scrambles too, and that's kind of why I'm leaning towards Clay Guida even in the scrambles, because Puelles against Jordan Levitt in his last fight as well, he gets in scrambles. He's very calm, he's very patient, but there's no sense of like urgency to move to positions. I think that's why he's so successful. But against Clay Guida, I think he's going to need to be a little bit more urgent if he finds himself in those positions. Clay Guida will just kind of get wild and scramble out of those positions in the way that Clay Guida does. So if I'm looking at this top to bottom, I think Clay Guida is obviously the more well-rounded fighter. I think he's the better wrestler in the matchup. And I think he can do enough in the jiu-jitsu to get back to his feet. If Puelles is going to win, I think it's got to be inside the distance in a submission. I don't think he can win a decision versus Clay Guida. And Clay Guida is just too tough and too knowledgeable about what Puelles wants to do in certain positions to get submitted. So if he gets submitted, obviously that's a way that bookies see that could happen. But I gotta go Clay Guida. I think he's he's better overall fighter.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. But
and he was the original, just real quick, he was the original lock of the week, the very first winner of lock of the week. I picked two. It was the lock of the week started a long time ago. It went back to back losses. You know what? It was Victoria Leonardo who got like steamrolled. Actually, she broke her hand. That was it. And you know who the other one was? It was the guy that's just tearing at the PFL now. He just had another head and arm win. Antonio Carlos Jr. I think it was Antonio Carlos Jr. Oh. So I picked him as my lock of the week, and now he's in PFL just like submitting every single person. So that looks it looks great for me. And then I picked Clay Guida, and he won. So I'm picking Clay Guida. If he was the underdog earlier in the week, I might have made him my lock of the week. But I'm not doing it. I got my lock of the week already.
Well, listen, I get it. I'm not gonna go crazy fighting against saying Clay Guida's gonna lose here. But one quick stat: he has 35 fights in the UFC. 35 fights in the UFC, and he has only won 2 of them where he was taken down. So if Claudio Puelles is able to take him down, statistically, he should win that fight. And you guys all love Clay Guida. 8-5, 61% of you are on Clay Guida here. I get it. Well, listen, when you guys were saying Rafa Garcia was going to lose, I was in here fighting to the death, arguing with you guys, screaming at you, and I was positive Rafa Garcia was going to win. I'm not doing that here. I'm not positive that Claudio Puelles is going to win, but he is my pick. And let's move on to the main event of the evening. Listen, frankly, the card is kind of an underwhelming card. Next week is not much better, but I don't hate this main event. I think this is, first of all, there are title implications, and I am very curious to see what happens here. Amanda Lemos is a killer. She's been knocking people cold, except Angela Hill, where she did not look very good in that fight. But
she almost knocked her out in the first minute.
A
minute into the fight, Angela Hill was like this and fell backwards.
But didn't. And instead she was reversed, gave up
takedowns,
gave up control
awful
time,
in that fight, but she front
and was
kicked her
hit more.
And just,
Angela Hill hit Amanda Lemos more than Amanda Lemos hit Angela. Very simple. What a joke. Absolute muppet. So real quick, before I break down this fight, just, share something with you guys. So Jacob is shorter than my wife. I just want to put this out there. Jacob likes to be tall and big. He's not. My wife is 5'8". Jacob is shorter than her. Very clean line here, walking you through that height differential. Jacob is short, and that's why he takes his aggression out on me.
Look at the personal attacks. He gets so upset.
There it is. I do get wound up. All right, anyway. We have Amanda Lemos taking on Jessica Andrade. Amanda Lemos, I do not think she looked good in that last fight. Jacob completely disagrees. Amanda Lemos is a killer, though. She's got power in her hands, power in her feet. Very, very good striker. Just absolutely destroying people. 5-0 in her last 5 fights. What was that big, heavy breathe? Oh, you did like a big sigh. Big, heavy breathe. Talking like my mother. She's taking on Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade is a bully. At 125, 115, bouncing between the weight classes, a former champion, has wins over some of the best to do it, losses to some of the best to do it. She's always in the mix, and she's not one of these women that lost the title and then just a quick downward spiral. She lost the title and then is right back in there getting solid wins. She's coming off a KO over Cynthia Calvillo, which just highlights that she can beat anybody that isn't the champion for the most part. That's Jessica Andrade in a nutshell. This fight is at 115 pounds, not 125. At 125, she did have success, but she did struggle at times bullying people. She didn't have the same success as she did at 115. At 115, she should be able to come forward, bully, drag to the ground, work from there, hold against the cage, beat up from there. Jessica Andrade does not have big power in her hands, but she is physically powerful, meaning she's not going to knock you out with one punch, but she will pick you up, she will drop you, she'll drag you to the ground, she'll hold you there, she'll work from there. She's a bully, she's got decent cardio, she's super strong, and I do think she bullies Lemos for the win. What are the odds? Minus 180. I think these odds are correct. I do have her in a parlay, but Amanda Lemos will be live for a stoppage. Jakey boy, you're on the Lemos side. Stop screaming at people in the live chat and let us know what you think.
Yeah, Andrade, she is good. I understand that she's good, but she is a bully, and she only wins when she can bully people. She's not going to bully Amanda Lemos. And the girl that has 9 losses, she loses to everyone that's like one of those next. Every time she fights somebody that's on that next level, she loses to them. She's got 9 losses. Now, Amanda Lemos is one of those girls that's on the next level power, next level striking, can survive on the ground. I don't think she's going to march forward, get in a clinch, pick her up, take her down, and start elbowing her in the face. I mean, watch that happen in the first round. But Amanda Lemos is a very, 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 very good dynamic striker. And Andrade, every time she fights, and lost to Shevchenko. Okay, I mean, ever lose to Shevchenko, but lost to the rematch to Rose, got dominated in striking. Lost to Wei Li, she lost, I mean, in the first round, got knocked out. Joanna, another good striker, lost a decision. Raquel Pennington, lost. Mariana Renault, lost. Jennifer Maia, lost. I mean, she's not somebody that's just winning and just dominating everyone that she fights. She loses a lot, and she loses a lot to very dynamic strikers that she cannot bully. And I think Amanda Lemos is one of those people that she's not going to march forward, grab her, pick her up, and take her down like she can do a lot of people. And she got bullied herself against obviously it's Shevchenko, but she got humbled against Shevchenko. That was up in weight. She's now back down at this the 115. But I think Amanda Lemos, we argue about that Angela Hill fight. Obviously, there was moments in that fight where Angela Hill, but Angela Hill's, I don't think she's ever been finished, right? But the person that almost finished her was Amanda Lemos. Inside of a minute, hit her with a front kick, knocked her out on her back, and if Amanda Lemos gets her back to her feet, she finished that fight. For whatever reason, Amanda Lemos went to her guard. Angela Hill was able to survive, but even in the third round, Angela Hill was going all in on takedowns, and Lemos had no issues kind of just scrambling and defending those takedowns and still had her power in the third round. With that said, this is a 5-round fight. If this fight gets out of the third round and Lemos has not banked 3 rounds or has not finished this fight, she's probably going to lose this fight and might get finished by Andrade, because Andrade does have the experience and does have the ability to go 5 rounds. So the way I played this fight was I played Amanda Lemos on our betting video, plus 180, inside the distance, decision, no action. I think Lemos can finish her inside of 2 rounds. If she does, I get paid. If this goes to a decision where I think Lemos can maybe survive enough in those late rounds to get to a decision, Andrade is probably going to win. I get my money back. I don't see Andrade finishing Lemos inside, 1 or 2 or 3 rounds. Maybe late 4th, 5th if Lemos gets tired. But Lemos is a dynamic striker. She's got real power, very precise with her striking. I'm Lemos all the way. And I'm fine with looking stupid in this matchup. I don't think that Andrade can bully her. I think that she finishes her. And Lemos is that next girl that comes in and fights for the title.
I love your bet. I do like that bet quite a bit. And if you guys want to follow that along, we've got a lot of you watching right now. If you go to wewantpicks.com/bets, we have 5 partners. The one partner that offers win inside the distance, decision, no action is Bet Online. You hop in there. Basically, if Amanda Lemos knocks out Jessica Andrade, Jacob gets paid plus 180. Plus 180, almost doubles his money. But if Amanda Lemos is bullied and loses a very lopsided decision, Jacob gets a refund on his bet. The bet never happened. You get your money back. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Bet Online is the one partner that offers that.
It's funny.
Let me finish the pitch. You sign up with any one of our 5 betting partners, and I will send you $50. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, however you want it. WeWantPicks.com/bets, and that's how we keep the lights on and give you all this free content. Continue.
So the odds have widened a little bit. She's a plus 190, and that bet that I placed at plus 180 is plus 135 now.
It went down, yeah.
Right.
That makes sense. First of all, I don't know why it was plus 180. Those odds, because it's a cushion bet. You're getting, You have the opportunity to get money back. So, granted, Amanda Lemos just to straight up win by knockout without the cushion part is probably what, plus 300?
Oh, they have a Bet Online's got an odd booster right now. Sometimes they boost some odds for certain fights. They have an Andrade odds booster by KO, TKO, or DQ. It was plus 200. Now it's plus 250. So if you like her by finish, they boosted the odds.
She could win by finish. Absolutely, she could win by finish. Late, 3rd, 4th. Yeah. Let's see who you guys voted for. This will be the last one. 13 of you, 61% of you voted for Jessica Andrade. 38% of you have Amanda Lemos winning this fight. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the watch. Like, subscribe, do all the things. I'll have quick picks out tomorrow. The next few weeks are going to be crazy. I'm moving. I have a work trip. I'm leaning on Jacob to put out a little more content than he normally does. So boost him up here. I'll stop making fun of him for being short so that he doesn't bail on me. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We'll send you $50. All the voting from here on out is at WeWantPicks.com/vote. Basically, just go to the website, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, all the things. We definitely appreciate you with Jared. Jacob is showing you his lock of the week. Thanks for everything. We'll see you guys.